Good afternoon and welcome to the Free Press News Cafe in the heart of Winnipeg's historic Exchange District. My name is Paul Samyn. I'm the editor of the Winnipeg Free Press, and today we have a special guest joining us. His name is Marc Kielburger. He is the co-founder of Free the Children. He writes books, he reads books, he's a change agent, and more importantly, from a Winnipeg perspective, he married a woman from St. Boniface. Marc, thank you very much for coming down to chat with us
Thank
today.
you. It's good to be here.
We have a live studio audience, so we probably will be taking some questions for them a little bit later. We do have a microphone set up here just to my left. We're also monitoring social media for some questions, Marc, that may be coming into you. We're going to start off with a cliche way of starting, but you're gonna run with this. Penny for your thoughts. Here you go. This is the first contribution for We Day in Winnipeg. You're gonna roll with that one.
Paul, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you to everybody for letting us interrupt your lunch. And for those of you who are watching online, especially all the young people in their schools watching online, it's wonderful to have you here as well. So tomorrow at this time, we'll be in front of a somewhat larger audience with 18,000 students from about 600 schools at an event called We Day, proudly partnered with the Free Press, of course. And one of those initiatives that we'll be launching at We Day with those 18,000 students at the MTS Center is the fact that Canada's getting rid of the penny. Now, a penny may not seem like much, but just like us, when we come together, it can create change. So what we're doing is we're embarking on Canada's largest penny drive, and all the young people are going to go back and fill bags with pennies. And it's an amazing initiative, and we're hoping to provide 100,000 people access to clean water because of something that Canada doesn't want anymore.
I know you're committed to this cause. Are you actually going to be rolling all the pennies?
No, thankfully, we have an amazing sponsorship with RBC, who have not only agreed to process the pennies, but will be making donations on the spot. So schools that are watching here today, so we're asking you to collect your pennies, go to an RBC branch in November and in the spring, and make those donations. And $25 in pennies gets somebody clean water for the rest of their lives.
Sounds like a good deal. Marc, that's small change making a big change. How much change do you think the movement has made? And from that, how do you measure the success? Like, how do you determine how much is enough change? Is there ever going to be enough change?
You know, it's interesting. We had our first We Day proudly here in this great province last year, and it was so successful to see hundreds of schools literally driving in for 13 hours, 12 hours, and of course others that weren't so far away, but to see that level of energy and excitement, and then seeing the hundreds of thousands of hours of volunteer service, the literally $1 million plus raised for local and international causes, all done here. And now We Days, of course, across the country. We have 8 We Days, and seeing the energy. And we see people who have taken things across the world here as well that are gathered here today, some friends. But we're so excited the fact that We Day is also going global. We have our first We Day that's taking place in the United States this upcoming spring, and next year in London, England. So it's so exciting to see the energy of what started proudly as a grassroots movement here in Canada that's now taking this energy of youth engagement by storm.
Okay. When you look at one of your core values, you talk about energy, but one of the lines is, I hadn't seen it before, shameless passion. Talk to me, what exactly is shameless passion, and how can you leverage that to bring about the change that you and Free the Children want?
Well, first of all, Paul, I'm very impressed that you actually not only embody great journalism, you also embody our core values. So that's really cool. Number 2 is that we have a whole bunch of core values. Shameless passion is one of them. Shameless idealism is within that as well. And when we were young, we were constantly told, especially our young people who are watching online here today, we were constantly told, oh, you want to change the world, isn't that cute? Tap on the head. Oh my goodness, you want to build a school, pinch your cheeks, that's so cute. And the whole concept of being an idealist was almost given a negative connotation. The whole concept of being passionate was given a negative connotation. And we can't change the things that we wish to see in the world. Can you imagine if Kennedy got up and said, you know what, one day we'll go with the moon, and he wasn't passionate about making that possible? This generation understands these issues. They lived through hurricanes and you know 9/11. They've lived through challenge and earthquakes in Haiti and more challenges and wars and more challenges, and they want to do something. They don't know what to do. But unless they embody that passion, excitement, and thirst for knowledge, mind you, to educate themselves, they're not going to be able to move that needle. And these kids are more passionate than any other generation that we've come across.
And we're going to be seeing a lot of that passion. You'll be able to watch it live on the Winnipeg Free Press website tomorrow, live from the MTS Center. we're going to take some questions. If people, there's a microphone here, and if you do want to ask a question of Marc, you can certainly line up. I'm going to go to a question just beforehand. Is the glass ever half empty in your world?
Well,
ever?
Let me, and I know everybody who's watching online, all these schools aren't watching online, humor me, and I know I'm interrupting your lunch, everybody. You guys are like, oh my goodness, this is such a great cafe. I'm here for food, and I have to endure this conversation. But no, you guys are being so, so kind. But seriously, put up your hand. Humor me. Put up your hand if you have kids. Put up your hand if you have kids. Okay, so for all of you, thank you. Paul, how many kids do you have, Paul? 3. So many of you, I know everybody can't watch this online, but so many of you put up your hands. The question is, how are you engaging your young people to have the self-confidence to be able to get involved? And the reason I share this is you don't turn 18 and develop a social conscience. It doesn't work that way. You don't turn 18 and say, I am now going to be an active citizen. I'm now, of course, going to vote. I'm now, of course, going to get engaged. The question is, how do you nurture that from a young age? And you do that by nurturing empathy, by letting young people know that each and every young person is gifted, and they take that gift and find an issue they care about, and that's the equation for a better world. And they do that by having experiential experiences. But all the data, all the study, all the information that we have seen, and again, especially for the parents watching today, we have all seen that what the number one indicator of young people becoming pro-social in their behavior, i.e. socially involved, comes down to the fact that parents have to model it. Parents have to model it. So if you're not modeling it as parents, you're putting in the greatest, most humble way your young person at a disadvantage to become compassionate, engaged, active, and to care. And so what are you doing? How are you modeling that? How are you doing it in a way that's genuine so the young people in your life understand as well? So, tomorrow we'll have those 18,000 young people. I know hopefully many of the young people in this room indirectly through the parents, the dozens of you that put up your hands, you'll have a chance to share that as well. But how do you then have a dinner table conversation tomorrow night to say, how am I going to move this forward? So that's the challenge to all of you who are parents here today.
All right. The microphone is there. As you can see, he's very nice. I don't care what the question is. I'm sure he's going to be able to answer. So please, if you do have a question, get to the microphone and we'll get to you.
Well, the number one question we typically get is, what do we do next? And before anybody comes up, I just want to stress. So this is my shameless plug. It's a shameless plug. Everybody watching today, I know there's lots of schools watching. Go to the Winnipeg Free Press website tomorrow, and you can actually watch the day live. It starts at 9 o'clock. It goes to 2 o'clock. We have amazing luminaries performing, speaking, engaging. We even have President Mikhail Gorbachev coming all the way from the former Soviet Union to come speak to these 18,000 kids, which is so exciting. So thank you. That's very kind of you.
Now, you mentioned Gorbachev. Yes. I got a bit of a predicament, all right?
All right.
Because for today, I've handed over the reins of the Winnipeg Free Press to Mikhail Gorbachev to be our guest editor. And I don't think I'm giving away any state secrets here. The newsroom already likes him better than me, and they know he's smarter than me. So I'm a little worried I could be out of work as of tomorrow. So I may be running away to join the Wee Day Circus as you carry on. So
may I just jump in on that? So for those of you who didn't see page A3 of the Free Press today, there's a huge announcement. There's actually also a little photo on the front page as well. That tomorrow, just want to make sure we're all on the same page on this one because it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Tomorrow, the guest editor of the Winnipeg Free Press will be Mikhail Gorbachev. And thank you, that's, again, very kind of you guys. And so Paul is being very kind, again, to turn over the reins for the day. And it's cool. Can you just give us a sneak preview of what it's all about? Is that acceptable?
Well, yeah, absolutely. What he's done is he's written a column for us, and he's given us sort of 3 editorial objectives. And what he's saying to us is he wants to see stories reflecting those themes. And it's not a big surprise. Their themes all related to what We Day and Free the Children are all about. And so what you're going to see is stories that give life and try and connect to children who are concerned about the environment, who are concerned about the planet they live in, who are concerned about access to safe drinking water, whether it's in Africa or whether it's in northern Manitoba. So we're going to try and make sure that tomorrow's Free Press looks unlike any Free Press you've ever seen.
Wow.
To make full use of that opportunity.
That's
so
awesome.
It's going to be different. It's going to be interesting, and I hope it creates a bit of a buzz.
So tomorrow, everybody here tomorrow, make sure, everybody watching, you have to make sure you go out and purchase a Winnipeg Free Press tomorrow and see the special edition edited by Mikhail Gorbachev. And that's going to be so cool and unlike any other Free Press ever done in history, which will be so cool.
Just to talk about Gorbachev, what do you think someone of his stature, someone who has made headlines and fundamentally changed the course of world history, what does it mean to have someone like Gorbachev be part of We Day and be speaking to children so they can hear firsthand from someone who they perhaps are still studying in history books?
Well, it's interesting. I've been asked a few times, why is the president coming in the nicest way possible, all the way to Winnipeg, and then flying all the way home?
Because maybe he wanted to see Bermitzrov. The lockout's not over.
He wanted to go to a Jets game, it's true. But other than that, he wanted to do this because of two reasons. His granddaughter and his great-granddaughter. And he spoke at We Day last year in Vancouver and was so captivated by what happened. And as a result, he said, you know what, I want to honor their lives, their future, their opportunity, their challenges they're facing as well. So I'm flying all the way because of who they are and what they represent, this next generation. And why is he coming outside of that? Because he's a man who's left an incredible legacy, but it's also a legacy in his mind and in his words that's undone. And he's, also in the nicest way possible, somewhat given up on the adults. And he says, I need to go right to the kids to ensure that they understand the opportunity, they understand the responsibility, the world that they're inheriting, and how they can get involved. So it's cool. What kind of online coverage are we going to have tomorrow if people who are watching online and want to get involved?
Well, you're going to see pictures. You're going to see stories. You're going to see some video in addition to the live stuff. But we're going to be trying sort of working via Twitter and other social media, try and capture what kids are feeling from inside the MTS Center and also what students watching from outside. So there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff flowing across our webpage starting from 9 o'clock, or just actually I think we'll get it going just before then.
If we have a quick question right
Sorry, here we go. Excellent. You just talk to the mic.
So I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for everything that you and your team at Free the Children do. It's absolutely incredible. I would want to know, though, what are you most proud of?
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for your question, and thank you for your work as well. So it's awesome to have a chance to chat with you guys so much informally before this presentation. But I think we're most proud of the fact that, yes, we've built 650 schools. We have 1 million people now getting clean water and 35,000 women being economically empowered and so much. But we're most proud of when we get these small, most genuine thank yous or see the impact in the small schools, the schools that you've never heard of, the schools in rural Manitoba or rural Ontario or rural BC who have found their issue, have tackled bullying, have figured out that they want to protect the environment and figured out how they're going to do so. And it's really quite meaningful. One of the issues that's very topical right now is, let me extrapolate, is that of bullying. And we had the most intense, yet humble, yes, exciting conversation on the issue of bullying across We Day, and that's going to be one of the themes tomorrow as well. And the question is how do you tackle an issue like this? And what I'm proud of is that we're able to do it in a way where the young people tackle it themselves. So it's not a parent, and it's not a teacher saying, well, guys, you can't bully because of this legislation that might be pending in the government, so bullying not allowed. It's not going to work. We can legislate till we're blue in the face, and parents can get up there and wave their finger in this nicest way possible, the impact's going to be negligible. But when young people themselves understand the implications, that they commit to taking an action, they commit to being positive in both social space, but also not in school when they're in face-to-face with those bullying situations, that they will be positive in terms of how they react. That's when we get most proud, because it's the small things that will never make the paper. It's the small things that you will never hear about, will probably never hear about, but we see indirectly going on all the time. And an example of that issue of bullying, we think we can turn the corner because all these kids are the ones who will move that issue forward better than any adult.
I want to make clear that while the News Cafe here has great coffee, he hasn't had a single drop. and so you're seeing his energy level without being fueled by caffeine. But let's talk about your energy level. What is it going to be like for you tomorrow morning before you and your brother take the stage? So you're in the green room at the MTS Center.
Sure.
What is going through your mind? What's it like?
Well, I have a fair warning to any of the adults who are coming to We Day tomorrow. So fair warning with the utmost respect. This is what you have to make sure you endure. If those of you are coming, I know some of you are, you will lose your hearing for 2 days. It's an amazing absolute octave or a pitch that you get 18,000 girls screaming at the exact same time when the equivalent thereof of a Justin Bieber comes on stage. And it's just absolutely pretty cool to see. Yes, you lose your hearing for 2 days, but eventually it does return, eventually does come back, et cetera, so you don't have to worry. But the reason I share that is you will hear a pin drop when President Gorbachev speaks, and you will hear an octave of screaming like unlike you ever have before when somebody who you may not know, but your 13-year-old teenager knows, when Sean Desmond husband walks on stage. So it's going to be those degrees of parallels or paradoxes, and it's going to be so much fun. So that energy will be palpable. The energy is like, you can't describe it. It's something you actually have to experience. And if you can't experience it yet again, go to the Free Press website, watch it online tomorrow, 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you'll be blown away.
Now, so you're going to have lost your hearing by the end, but then when you come off the stage, what is that feeling? Having done the show, having seen the energy, have seen the look on the faces of those kids and heard them scream, if you're still able to hear.
Yes.
What's it like when you leave the stage?
It's actually incredibly humbling, because that's actually when the real work begins. Because We Day is amazing, and yes, we have the 18,000 kids, and it's so much fun, and we have the 500 schools who are there for the event. But We Day is so much more than the event. Everybody sees the event, and that's what gets the press coverage and so forth in the most significant way. But what happens is those 600 schools commit to taking action all year. They commit to one local and one global action, one local and one global action. And that's when that work begins. Like literally 2:01 at 2 o'clock the show ends. 1 minute after, the power of the day actually goes into fruition, because we will follow up with those schools. Those schools will be going home. The most fascinating conversations will happen on the school bus. The next Monday in school, action plans will be done. Principals will sign off on them. They'll decide what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. They're going to tabulate it, and we're going to report back in June to actually see what has been able to be accomplished. So the day is amazing, and to answer your question, it's at 2:01 when I get most excited.
Anyways, I don't think we have any questions, Dan, online. No? So anyone else at the microphone? No?
Well, listen, on that note, as we end, and I know we're about to end, I just really want to say thank you to our friends here for organizing this today. Thank you to Paul, and we have the privilege of working with amazing outlets across the country. There has none been more supportive and more engaged than the Free Press community, and to have an opportunity to spend some time in front of the few dozen people here today, we're absolutely thrilled. And I know many young people watch this online. We're going to tweet about it to our hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers, so young people, watch out. It's going to be so much fun. But again, tomorrow will be so much fun. Thank you to the Winnipeg community for embracing this with such passion and compassion. And thank you to the Free Press for living the change which we all wish to see.
All right, so I'm going to say from me to you, on behalf of us and we at the Winnipeg Free Press, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, sir.